And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special weekend edition on the 28th day of August. Yes, the last weekend of August. Would you believe it? So can anyone tell me how many weeks to go till Christmas? Well, you can have that comment on the comment section if you know that answer. Well, right now, moving on. Today we have lots to talk about. So first of all, we will look at all the states and look at what the numbers are, the cases where they might be. So first we'll look at New South Wales, then we'll go to Victoria, then of course we'll look at Queensland, then we'll look at the Krshna Janmasthmi and the virtual celebration by Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan. We'll have Aziz and Sanjeev here in the studio. Then we'll go to India. We'll have the PIO daily report, and then we'll have the last segment, which is a very important segment, is Mums United Sewa project, and Rohani will be here in the studio to talk about that project, and it is something that you really would need to be connected with. And we'll finish off with the functions and events taking place. I can't believe it, I said for a long time. But looking at all this, so we really need to keep moving because there's a lot to get through today. Well, right now, let's take a very quick look at Devika. Correct, 12 weeks to go. Well, good on you. Well, right now, let's move on and take a look at first, as I said, we'll look at New South Wales first.
The last 24 hours, 136,000 people came forward and got vaccinated in New South Wales. This is a new record, and can I thank every single person for leading the charge in getting those vaccination rates up. We also had more than 150,000 people come forward to get tested, and we're now at 6.2 million jabs in New South Wales. Last night to 8 p.m. there were 1,029 cases of community transmission, and 3 people lost their lives, and we extend our condolences and sympathies to their families. Unfortunately, all 3 were unvaccinated, a male in his 30s, a male in his 60s and a male in his 80s, and again we extend our deepest condolences. As you know, every day we talk about the suburbs in southwestern and western Sydney that are areas of concern. Now they comprise over 80% of all the cases in those areas, so the concentration of cases in those areas remains the case, and we just ask everybody in those communities just to adhere to the advice. Please know that every time you leave your home you should assume you have the virus or somebody you're coming into contact with has the virus. As far as Western New South Wales is concerned, we have seen obviously the concern level there continue in relation to the number of cases, and that is the most area of concern in regional New South Wales. However, there has been a stabilisation of cases pretty much across the regions, but for Western New South Wales, and Dr Chan and the Deputy Premier will speak about that. And we're obviously making sure that we support those communities through social services, government agencies and vaccination. Given that acute situation in Western New South Wales and Dubbo in particular, the regional lockdown will be extended to all of regional New South Wales until at least at least midnight Friday the 10th of September. Now, we do appreciate there are many communities in the regions that don't have any cases, that have never had any cases, and they're really wanting to come out of lockdown. But as a precaution, the health advice says that we should extend the lockdown to all of regional New South Wales until midnight Friday the 10th of September. As you know, we've been speaking about what milestones we can support the community with after 6 million jabs. Tomorrow the New South Wales Government will speak about our schools plan and how there'll be a safe return to schools. But today I'm pleased to announce that given we did get to the 6 million jabs, that from the 13th of September, so in a couple of weeks, in the local government areas of concern, families, a household, will now be able to go out for an hour of recreation on top of the hour of exercise. So a family will be able to sit in a park so long as the adults are vaccinated, and that is key. So long as the adults in that family within the household are all vaccinated and can demonstrate their proof of their vaccination, they will be able to have an hour of recreation on top of the hour of exercise. So that could be sitting in a park with a picnic with their household or similar event. In relation to areas outside the local government areas of concern, so for the rest of Greater Sydney and for the regions, 5 people will now be able to gather outdoors so long as all adults are vaccinated. That 5 can include children, but obviously if it's 5 adults, all of the adults, and for adults for this purpose is over 18 years of age, all of them will need to be vaccinated. So it means that if you have friends or relatives within your LGA or within the 5 kilometres, you will be able to congregate together in an outdoor gathering of 5 as opposed to just 2 from different households. And we know, and Dr Wright, who's a chief psychiatrist, is here, we know that people coming together is what people miss the most. And whilst there are various options we looked at, that was the option that met the mental health needs and wellbeing of our community, but also provided the lowest risk setting.
The update there from New South Wales. Next up, we will look at the update from Victoria and then Queensland before we go into the interviews for today. Well, of course, now we can appreciate that they have to make these rules and everything as the cases happen and based upon the things. So nothing can be very well planned way ahead because who knows what's going to happen and what's going to spring up where. So, you know, under the circumstances, everyone's trying to do the right thing, and it is up to us to do the right thing as well. But right now, let's take a look at Victoria.
There are 80 local cases of coronavirus, additional cases in today's numbers. 67 of those are linked to known outbreaks. 13 of those have their acquisition source still under investigation. 39 were in isolation for the entirety of their infectious period. That takes us to a total of 600 active cases, 596 locally acquired and 4 that are overseas acquired. There are 36 people in hospital, 11 in ICU, 8 on a ventilator. 56,248 test results were received. 56,248 test results were received yesterday. Which is a fantastic outcome, and we thank every single one of those more than 56,000 Victorians who have come forward and got tested in the last 24 hours. Those results are still coming back to people, the vast majority, well into the 90% within, that is received the following day. So our labs are working very well, the queues are not that long, and we'll get you results as soon as we possibly can, but we're deeply grateful to each and every one of those people for going and getting tested. The key point, though, is to get tested as soon as you possibly can. So when you register symptoms, you can't wait 7 and 8 days, as regrettably some of today's positive cases did wait a long time before they went and got tested, which meant they were in the community, they were out there unknowingly infecting other people, and often the people that they love the most, their family, their very close family, their immediate family and friends. You've got to go and get tested as soon as you get symptoms. Otherwise, you will almost certainly give this to all the people that you love. And this is not a good thing to get. A lot of people get very, very unwell when they are infected with this Delta variant.
Update there from Victoria. Well, right now we'll take a look at, because we really need to get into the interviews for today. So next up, let's take a look at Queensland. And of course, our Premier will be making reference to those 2 reports which we've just heard.
We all know that our hotels were not built to deal with the Delta strain of this virus. In fact, what's happening in New South Wales and Victoria is a direct result of the Delta strain coming in and essentially breaching hotel quarantine. So we need regional quarantine facilities. I have been advocating this for a long, long time. It is a no-brainer. People across Queensland come up to me and they say to me, we agree with you. We don't need people being in hotels, we need them in regional facilities. And how do we know that they work? Well, look at Howard Springs. Howard Springs has been a brilliant example. You've seen our Olympians come back and stay there. It's spread out, it's fresh air for people. People don't have to stay in rooms without balconies. I've done hotel quarantine myself. there is a constant flow of people coming up and down in the lifts. Our hotels were not meant to be the last line of defence to deal with a global pandemic. Now, we have agreed with the Commonwealth about Pinkenbar. So we've got that agreement and the Commonwealth is building that facility. Well, today I'm pleased to announce that my government has reached agreement with John Wagner and the facility in Toowoomba will be built. Our Cabinet has given the go-ahead, and as you can see, right behind us, construction is underway today. This is going to be a great boost for our defence against the Delta virus in this country. And in fact, I believe we need regional facilities right across the country. We are going to be dealing with Delta for some time. And if we want to open Australia up, we want to open our states up, regional quarantine facilities are the second part of the answer. The first part of the answer is vaccine. So we need the vaccine rollout and we need to make sure that we have good quarantine regional facilities away from our densely populated cities that can spread the virus rapidly, as we've seen what has happened, unfortunately, in New South Wales and, of course, in Victoria.
So there we go. Update there from the Premier, and as he has mentioned that the regional facilities is the way to go. Then it is a no-brainer. One of the things there is, of course, we know that the coronavirus is here to stay. Well, it is going to be part of life, and we'll just need to know how to best deal with it. But big quarantine centres, if they're made now, what would be the use if we've gone past that stage where everyone's vaccinated and it is under control with vaccination? So maybe that might be another way to look at it. But anyway, time will tell. Right now, into the first interview for today, and it is an excellent interview here today. We're having with Sanjeev Sharma and, of course, Anis from DJJS Jagrati Sansthan. And after that, we have the PIO TV and all the mums from Mums United. Get ready, because after that interview will be your the segment coming up as well. So right now, let's take a look at DJJS Jagrati Sansthan and the virtual Krshna Janmasthmi. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very, very special segment where we're going to be talking about something very, very important, very auspicious, and of course, very practical, especially in today's day and age. With that, I'd like to welcome to the studios Sanjeev and Assis. Welcome to the studios. So, as both of you are representatives of DJJS, for the benefit of our listeners, could you please briefly tell us about DJJS?
So, as Umeshi said, DJJS, it is DJJS Jagrati Sansthan, which is run under the mentorship of His Holiness Ashutosh Maharaj, whose aim is to turn this torn and tormented society into a peaceful global family through the science of self-realization called Brahma Gyan. DJJS has been working in Australia for past 8 years now, and it is active in all the different states in Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide, and here in Brisbane. So it has been actively involved in various cultural and spiritual events. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that brief introduction. As we know, if we wanted to go into full introduction, we'll be here for a very, very long time. So, but it is very wonderful to see the work in the work of DJJS Jagrati Sansthan being expanded through the world, and right here, in Brisbane, the work that the Brisbane branch is doing under guidance of the Sanjeev ji is just amazing. I can always see the goodwill work that's being done out there. It is quite easy to slip into, the Western culture and those kind of things, and, preserving our language, culture and customs and traditions in a very challenging environment. It's wonderful to see that that's been done. So first of all, moving on into the interview of today, could you please tell our listeners about Sri Krshna Janmasthmi? What is it and why is it celebrated?
Thanks, Ameshji, and thanks Australian India Radio for giving us a chance and to tell something about Janmasthmi. As you know, Janmasthmi is one of the main festivals of India, like Ram Navami, Janmasthmi, Shavaratri. They are the core of Indian culture heritage. And Janmasthmi is very important. Why it's very important? And as you know, Krishna is very popular among the young children, among foreign culture, everywhere. And Janmasthmi is such a festival which gives us an awakening call to all of us. What is awakening call? That how we can live in this world and see the life of Lord Krishna. He did a lot of divine play, but in all the divine plays there was always a message. Unfortunately, we couldn't decode that message. For that we need a perfect master. So that's why, thanks to in the lotus feet of His Holiness Ashutosh Maharaji, due to his blessings, today I'm able to say something about Janmasthmi and his divine secret. As interview progress, I will tell you a lot of divine secret and tell you why Janmasthmi is so much important. Because without Shri Krishna, our life is meaningless. Especially people who believe in actual rationality, they have to believe in Krishna.
Thank you very much for that explanation, Sanjeev. Now, just of Krishnaji's celebration of Ashtami. So, why is Janmasthmi celebrated?
Janmasthmi always come in the month of August and September, you see, most of the time. It is basically when Lord Krishna was born, you see that was there was complete darkness. And when he born, and after that all the everything is become under the light. You see, after that light prevails from darkness to light. The actual meaning of Janmasthmi, from darkness to light, because his father and mother was in a prison house, and we know all that. It's a very long story. I can't explain over here. But I just give you in a one-line brief description. Janmasthmi has the main significance is that we are heading from darkness to light. That's what the Divine Light Awakening Mission DJJS Jagriti Sansthan is doing. We are taking people from darkness to light.
And very good. Thank you so much for that. And of course, it is very, very important that these customs and rituals are observed. And so, looking at now today in a very, very modern day and age. So what is its relevance, Krishna's and Krishna Janmasthmi's relevance in today's modern day age, and how is it also relevant, not only to the Hindus but to the wider community as well?
This is a very good question. Asking this question, I wanted you to ask this question. As we know, before Gita, there was a myth that you can see God only after once we completed your family duties. Then people leave to the jungles and other parts to over the mountains to attain that peace and enlightenment. But what Krishnaji brought in our life, they brought practical aspects that we can achieve all those things while doing all the worldly duties. They said to the Arjuna, Yuddha bhi kar, Sumran bhi kar, and Yuddha bhi kar. What does it mean? Means we often see the God. The God is one leg is like this, and one on the knee, and one leg is touching the ground. What does it mean? All this significance that we have to live in this world. We have to inwardly. We have to always attach ourselves, our soul always attached to the higher self. But same time, we should keep doing all the duties of the world. Like we can't leave our families and leave our duties over here. And Gita is a very modern, practical scripture which was given by Lord Krishna. As you know, the melancholy of Arjuna when he said now he can't fight anymore. But there's a very big significance over here. Krishna till chapter 11, Krishna tried to uplift him, but he was not uplifted. How he was uplifted? When he was given a practical knowledge of Brahmya. That was the knowledge when he participated, when he showed his divine self. Till that he was thinking Krishna was his friend. But after that he realized no. Then he suddenly awakened. So awakening is a big thing. Nowadays, modern day, Janmasthmi is a kind of clarion call to all the people who are suffering with depression, anxieties, and they don't have solutions. People are just taking shelter on all those things which are not good for our health. Instead, they are getting more pressure from the society. There's so much peer pressure, other pressures around us. But Gita gives us one very good solution. Just know thyself. What the Bible says. That's what Gita says. So that's why it's very important, relevant in modern world.
And it is, and I couldn't agree more. That is very, very relevant today. And of course, in modern day and age, people are using Gita in their day-to-day life. People are using that in their business. There are motivational speakers who have taken extracts of Gita and they put that into business management, into many other things, especially when they are faced with challenges, as Arjuna was faced with the challenge. So, there are challenges in daily life, and so you can apply those principles in modern day life. So that is very good. So, one of the words that always associated with Krishnaji is Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So what does this mean?
जब जब होए धर्म की हानि बड़े असर अदब अभिमानी तब तब प्रभु धरि विविध शरीरा हरियो कृपा नदी सज्जन पीरा. Lord Krishna says, whenever there will be a chaos, lawlessness, he'll manifest. He'll come on this earth to give a shelter to the holy people, remove all the darkness and negativity from this world. See, but here is a very big secret. Sambhavami Yuge Yuge means when there was a chaos, the Prabhu Rama came over here. When there was chaos in the Dwapar, Lord Krishna came here, but he gave us a signal. Whenever there will be chaos, even nowadays, modern day time, there's a way more chaos than compared to Dwapar and Treta Yuga. So don't you think right now there will be any again Krishna over here? Don't you think we need right now Krishna? Earlier there was a few Ravans, only a Ravan, Kumbhakarna, only few demons. But if you find nowadays, there's a lot of demons. So we need a Ram and Krishna in every home. And that's what Ashutosh Maharaj said. That he said he brought such a revolution in this society. One day, every home there will be a Ram under the guidance of His Holiness. And now you see the Divya Jyoti. Just you were talking about Divya Jyoti. It's not the we people are doing anything. It's the powerhouse is of Ashutosh Maharaj Ji. His Holiness, His blessings, His guidance show us a light in this dark age where we can say that Sambhavami Yuga Yuga means whenever there will be chaos, there will be a light to come, and in form of a Ram, Krishna, today in form of Ashutosh Maharaj Ji. And all the positive, these energies always remains on the earth to save holy souls, pure souls, and always remove the negativity from this world.
And once again, that's very well said, as you've mentioned, that from time eternity, from the time we began, in every era, whenever there was need and whenever there was wrongdoings, he appeared in different forms to provide salvation to the people. So in every age, in every era, in different forms, has been there. So that's wonderful to hear that. But right now, because it's Janmasthmi and we are going to be celebrating that. But of course, we need to be very mindful that we are in the middle of a pandemic. We are in the middle of a pandemic. We cannot gather in the big numbers that we used to. We cannot have big pandals or big marquees and get so many people as we would love to do that, as you people have all previously done. So under those current circumstances, how is the Krishna Janmasthmi going to be celebrated, and what is Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan doing?
Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan is a responsible organization. We always think social responsibility is more important than any other thing. Even when the pandemic started, we stopped all our programs. even big, there we had suffered a lot of economical loss, no problem. But our priority was to save the people. And now, but we can't stay away from these celebrations. We are so much attached to it. Once you know the month August start, everybody start thinking about Janmasthmi. And a lot of people was saying that how we can attach, because Janmasthmi was a huge event of Divya Jyoti before pandemic. Usually it is happening in Dwarka and all those areas, and 3-4 days was celebration over there. But now our management are thinking this way: why not virtual? Why not go global, reach to everyone? At least people see, because with Divya Jyoti it's always special. What is special? Because under the guidance of His Holiness Ashutosh Maharaji, all that divine secret, divine play, what by Lord Krshna, you can know what is the hidden significance behind them. And that's why they choose this live streaming platform, virtual platform, so that everybody can enjoy at home, and we don't have mass gatherings and we don't spread any COVID. And same time we can enjoy our festival, because that's the utmost priority to enjoy the festival. And everybody now can sit at home on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they can enjoy Janmasthmi, because Janmasthmi is kind of is always attached to our soul, and that's why Divya Jyoti took his social responsibility, and it's a kind of it's a big blessings to Ashutosh Maharaji for the world. Now everywhere in the world people can enjoy Janmasthmi at sitting in their bedrooms.
Thank you very much. So Ashish, if you could just tell our viewers how they can tune in, and where would the feed be, and some of those technical aspects.
Yeah, definitely, Umeshi. So for tuning into the Janmashtami event, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is DJJS World. And at DJJS World, you will find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as well, and you will get regular updates regarding this event. As per the Australian times, the event will be on 29th, 30th and 31st of August, and the timings will also be it is on 29th it will be 2:30 to 4 p.m. and the next, if we convert it into Australian time, will be 1:30 a.m. to 4:30, which will be like late or early morning 30th. And on 30th, which will be a suitable time I think for most of us, is 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So I think 29th and 30th we are getting it on 2 days from 2:30 p.m. onwards. So that will be a very good time for everyone to tune in on YouTube at DJJS World, and do subscribe to the channel so that you get regular updates.
We are doing a huge celebration of Janmasthami on mass scale. There will be 3 hours program on Monday, but there will be 9 p.m. India time, and that will be 1:30 a.m. Australia time. So still, if people I think many people love it. Once they will see the first 2-day program, they don't want to miss the final session when the Lord Krishna is born, and I think really that will be treat to watch.
Okay, and thank you very much for that. As the timings are from India, so people will need to convert those time, as Ashish has mentioned also, that this will be the timings here in Australia. And of course, being on Facebook and YouTube, it can also be viewed later on if someone does miss that. But watching it as it happens is another experience. I think that is the wonderful experience.
In Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra and Brisbane, we are 4.5 hours ahead from, and Tasmania as well, 4.5 hours ahead from India. So people can just calculate time according to the Indian time and Australian time.
Yes, and once again, thank you very much for being on the show and discussing about Krishna Janmashtami and actually going virtual. So as they say, the message itself is more important than the medium. So the medium, throughout our ages, in the very beginning, it used to be, our scriptures used to be written on patras, and then the books came in and whatever. So the medium doesn't matter. The message is very important. So if today's day and means is to get things getting message out to people by this virtual means. So that's some means that needs to be embraced, but the message must be there. So once again, thank you very much for being on the show and explaining about the virtual the program of Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan on the occasion of Krshna Janmasthmi.
Thank you, Mirji, and thanks Australian Indian Radio, always being very kind to us and giving us opportunity and platform so that we can spread our message among the Australian community. Thank you very much for that, and worldwide as well from this platform. Thank you once again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go, the first interview for today. And once again, very informative, and make sure that you do tune in to those timings and watch the Krshna Janmasthmi unfold right before your eyes. Well, right now, it's time to go to the Daily India Report. And after that, we have the Mums United Sewa project. So right now, it's time for our Daily India Report.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you glimpses of the changing India and the growing engagement of the Indian diaspora with India. In our first story, India has strongly condemned the bomb blasts near the Kabul International Airport on 26th August. All political parties of India have supported the Modi government actions on the situation in Afghanistan. India has strongly condemned the explosions outside Kabul airport in Afghanistan on 26th August. The Ministry of External Affairs extended condolences to the families of the victims of this terrorist attack. India underlined that the attacks reinforced the need for the world to stand unitedly against terrorism and all those who provide sanctuaries to terrorists. The first blast was reported at the Abbey Gate in Kabul airport, while the second one was near the Baron Hotel. Meanwhile, Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar chaired a meeting of senior leaders of all political parties in India. In the over 3 hours meeting, he described the turbulent situation in Afghanistan, but said that the government was committed to bringing back each and every Indian from Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. Also present at the meeting were Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi and Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha Piyush Goyal. A total of 37 leaders from 31 parties attended. At the start of the meeting, Foreign Minister Jaishankar briefed the parliamentarians about the situation that exists in Afghanistan and what India's role has been so far. A presentation was also made by Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla. Jaishankar later told the media that all the leaders had a similar view on the matter and there was a strong national position on Afghanistan. Jaishankar said that in the last 2 days, Russian President Vladimir Putin and German Chancellor Angela Merkel have spoken to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and added that there will be some other calls at the foreign minister level. An Indian company has signed a historic agreement with the government of Maldives to link the capital Malé with adjoining islands. The largest ever infrastructure project in the Maldives was signed in Malé on 26th August. A historic deal has been signed between the government of the Maldives and the Indian construction giant Afcons. The Greater Malé Connectivity Project will consist of a 6.74 kilometer long bridge and a causeway link between Malé and nearby islands of Willingli, Gulifalu and Thilafushi. Describing the project as an enduring tribute to the strong Maldives-India partnership, Foreign Minister of Maldives Abdullah Shahid said, quote, "Delighted that the contract has been signed between the Ministry of National Planning, Housing and Infrastructure and Afcons Infrastructure Limited. This is a defining moment in the development journey of the Maldives." End quote. Indian High Commissioner Sanjay Sudhir and senior representatives from Afcons represented the Indian side at the signing ceremony. Afcons is known for its extreme engineering projects that also include the Chenab Railway Bridge. The project is funded by a grant of $100 million and a line of credit of $400 million from India. India has achieved another milestone in the battle against COVID-19, as more than 50% of its eligible citizens have been vaccinated with at least one dose. India recorded a major achievement in its fight against COVID-19 as the Health Ministry announced that more than 50% of the eligible population had been given the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Mansukh Mandavia tweeted that India had achieved an unprecedented milestone. Currently, India has administered more than 610 million vaccine doses. The 600 million marks was achieved on 25th August, with the last 10 million doses being administered in just 19 days. Meanwhile, the government's COVID panel chief N.K. Arora has said that details of the vaccination of children between 12 and 17, including prioritizing those with health complications, will be announced before the Zydus Cadila vaccine is rolled out in October 2021. Dr. Arora, who heads the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, said there are 120 million children in the 12 to 17 age group. They are unlikely to have serious health complications or death due to the virus. Health complications in parents between 18 to 45 years is more likely by 10 to 15 times. The priority is to vaccinate adults before we start vaccinating children. He said there are about 440 million children in the country under the age of 18 and suggested the reopening of schools necessary for their intellectual development. Zycov-D, an indigenously developed drug that is the world's first DNA-based, needle-free COVID-19 vaccine, received EUA emergency use authorization on 20th August. The Department of Biotechnology has said that when injected, Zycov-D produces the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus and elicits an immune response which plays a vital role in protection from the disease as well as viral clearance. It said interim results from phase 3 clinical trials in over 28,000 volunteers showed primary efficacy of 66.6% for symptomatic RT-PCR positive cases. This has been the largest vaccine trial so far in India for COVID-19. Playing a big brother role in the South Asian neighborhood, India has gifted 40 more life-supporting ambulances to Bangladesh. The second consignment of 40 life support ambulances gifted by India arrived in Bangladesh through the Benapole land port on 26 August. With this, Bangladesh has received a total of 71 ambulances till now. These life support ambulances are part of the gift of 109 ambulances announced during the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in March 2021. The High Commission of India said that the gift of ambulances will further enhance healthcare, especially in the shared effort to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in Bangladesh. The remaining 38 ambulances are expected to arrive in Dhaka by mid-September. These ambulances are intended to support the government of Bangladesh's extensive effort to combat the COVID pandemic. They underline India's continuing and long-term commitment to partner the fraternal people of Bangladesh. Another state of India ruled by the opposition Congress party is in crisis. Chhattisgarh chief ministers and members of Legislative Assembly have been summoned by the High Command. There are reports of growing dissent within the Congress party that rules the Indian state of Chhattisgarh. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel and Health Minister T.S. Singh Deo have rushed to Delhi to meet Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. Reports said the party High Command summoned Baghel and all party MLAs to Delhi on 27th August. A change of guard is expected, though Baghel is trying to resist the transition. The Congress has 68 MLAs in the 90-member assembly. According to T.S. Deo, there were talks of a 2.5 years formula when the Congress formed a government in the state. It was reported that the Congress High Command had accepted the formula of Baghel and Deo sharing power as Chief Minister for 2.5 years each. Baghel assumed office in December 2018 and has already completed more than 2.5 years. However, His refusal to relinquish the post for DO triggered the dissent which boiled into the meeting with party high command. The much-awaited title track of the film Bhoot Police has been released. Called I Bhoot Police, the song is a peppy number and climbing to the top of the charts. The much-awaited title track of Pawan Kriplani's horror comedy, Bhoot Police, was released on 26th August. The track I Bhoot Police is sung by Vishal Dadlani and Sunidhi Chauhan. Arjun Kapoor shared the music video on his Instagram and wrote, "Party hard with hashtag Bhoot Police." Hashtag I Bhoot Police is out now. Crank up the music and tune in. The song featuring Arjun Kapoor, Saif Ali Khan and Jacqueline Fernandez is a peppy number and the trio looked stunning together. While Saif and Arjun, who play Ghostbusters in the film, nailed it with their killer moves, Jacqueline stunned the audience with her graceful moves. Lyricist Kumar has penned the lyrics of the song I Bhoot Police and Melody has sung the rap part. The music composers of the song are Sachin Jigar, Sachin Sangvi and Jigar Saraiya. The music video is choreographed by Remo D'Souza. In the film, Saif plays a character called Vibhuti, Arjun's character is named Chiranji, Yami is Maya while Jacqueline plays Kanika. In breaking news today, Yahoo has shut down its content operations in India due to changes in rules in India that now limit foreign funding to 26% in digital news media. Yahoo is one of the oldest email service providers that diversified into providing content to create stickiness for users. Its parent American company, Verizon Media, decided to shut Yahoo India's operations starting Thursday, 26th August. That's all for this bulletin of Daily India Report. Thank you for watching.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the Daily India Report. Well, next up, we will look at our very own we will look at some of the reports from Australia. So, the next up, we have the interview of Mums United Sewa project. And with that, we'll be welcoming Rohani into the studios. Right now, let's go to that report. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about hunger and homelessness. COVID-19 and its flow-on effects has changed the face of food insecurity in Australia. The global pandemic has impacted the lives of all Australians. However, those who were already struggling before coronavirus hit felt the effects more quickly and more seriously. Prior to COVID-19, the main groups assessing food relief were families living on low income, the unemployed, single-parent families, the homeless people, and people with mental illness. So since March this year, some of these groups have become more vulnerable and needing to access food relief more often. Young Australians are much more likely to be doing it tough as a result of COVID-19. With this generation more likely to be working casually, many have lost their source of income or had their income reduced. Many disadvantaged people live week to week and as a result are much less likely to have safeguard against sudden changes in external environment. Early in the pandemic, when some Australians began panic buying and stockpiling, vulnerable Australians faced increased food insecurity, as many of the basics disappeared from the shelves and they did not have the resources to stockpile themselves or purchase more expensive alternatives. Charities have seen a significant increase in the frequency of demand for food relief. So in 2019, 15% of Australians experiencing food insecurity were seeking food relief at least once a week. In 2020, this has doubled to 31%. One organisation that has risen to the occasion is Mums United Sewa. So United Mums Sewa Group is a self-funded through kind donations from local community. Donations are welcome and their mantra is any size of generosity makes a huge difference to our friends on the street and in difficult situations. Today, we have in the studio with us Rohani Prasad, the founder of Mums. So, Rohani, welcome to the show.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and present to our listeners what Mums United Sewa Project stands for.
Okay, once again, congratulations on forming Mums United Sewa, and of course, a great work that you're doing out in the community. So, okay, first of all, we'd like to, for the benefit of all our viewers and listeners, how did this come about?
Well, it all started when we went into our first lockdown in 2020. All our international students were caught short, out of work, and very little income to support themselves. So with my mum's group, we spoke about how to support the students and their survival status during lockdown. We did a cash collection and then we went out and distributed food packages to students.
So that is once again a wonderful initiative, and in times like this, I think that was one of the right things to do because there's so many things that people could be doing. There's so many different things, but this concept that came about has been a wonderful initiative. So, since the formation, what have been some of the activities so far?
Okay, so after supporting the students, we took a little bit of a break, and then early this year we decided charity starts at our doorstep. So we looked into homelessness within our community, and like in certain uncertain times, currently people are out of work or out of their normal working hours and they are suffering financially. So there are more people needing support out there and more people are on the street. And homelessness has grown 14% in the last 5 years. So we decided to do something more on a regular basis for people in our community.
And once again, it is a very, very noble cause. And when you look at those stats, I think many people might not be aware that there are that many people who are homeless and needing that. So, since starting this movement and getting involved and doing what you do, so what have been your discoveries, looking at the number of people on the streets or homeless?
Initially, we started handing out 80 bags every month, and then the demand grew, so now it's up to 120 bags of non-perishable items we hand out once a month. And currently we're only doing it once a month. There is a lot of demand to do it more regularly, but in order to do that, we need a lot more donations and a lot more support from the wider community. And it's not only people on the street who come and get food and non-perishable items, it is people who are living in shelter homes on Centrelink benefits that they are not able to meet all their bills, so therefore they come along and we put a smile to their faces, we give them a meal and take a bag of snacks and non-perishable items to see them through for a week.
And isn't that wonderful, to put a smile on anyone's face? So as you've mentioned there, that it's not just the homeless, all the ones who are on the street, also people living on the Centrelink benefit, who are finding it hard to make ends meet on whatever they get. So, it is quite a noble cause. And one of the things that you've just mentioned there is that you need a little bit more support. And so how can people get involved?
Well, we have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. People can find us on social media. People can ring me. The details will come at the end of the show. Get involved by making small donations. The more people donate, the more we can give, and more regularly. A small donation of $25 a month by 50 people will see us provide easily and more sufficiently to anyone out there on the street that we are currently helping out at the moment. And also it's a mums group, so we have young mums with young kids who come along and get so much satisfaction just to do compassion work and to teach the young ones from a very young age of what humanity and compassion is all about, will see us have a more fruitful younger generation who will actually not be of a mindset of me, but of a mindset of giving back to the community.
And isn't that wonderful that, doing something meaningful and purposeful, and especially with the younger generation coming in and helping. So, heads up, kudos to all the moms who have come out. So, looking at the volunteers who come in and help and assist. So, how many volunteers are needed?
Well, to get our monthly drive together, we need at least 25 mums donating. Currently we have about 15 mums who are donating every month, and we need more business houses to come on board and support us by giving more donations in non-perishable items, or by giving us non-perishable items at wholesale prices, so then we are not paying the retail market value to put foods in the bags for our needy people.
So that is, again, a very good call there out to the business houses coming in, getting involved. And of course, if we have to pay the higher price for those items, it makes it hard to get it out there as well. So, talking about the food items and everything like that, and as you said, it mainly driven by the donations that come in from the community. So, how are the donations? Are they coming through? Are people donating? And are they receptive to the idea?
There are a lot of mums who are very receptive, and I have approached few businesses and they have supported me last month, but there's always more room for more donation. And the items that we give are not costly items. It is just to give them some sustained energy during the day before they get the next meal. And I know in our community there are a lot of businesses out there that can get involved. Currently, the mums are very receptive to my need, and as soon as I put anything in our WhatsApp group that we are doing this and we need donation, they get on board very quickly. And it is thanks to these mums that I have been able to see this vision of mine come into fruitful for the homeless.
And isn't that wonderful to see that a dream comes to fruition? And that is, of course, a good and worthy cause as well. It's not just a dream that someone has. So it is for a very, very worthy cause as well. So, you've got the mums coming in helping, some donations is coming. Of course, we are part of a wider community. So what has the community response been so far?
So far, I haven't had much community positive feedback as yet, but we are in our early stages, and I will be reaching out to more businesses to get them on board with our vision. Initially, we do need to register our organisation, so I have spoken to a solicitor, and like any other registration, there are costs involved. So now the next thing for us, Mum, is to get some funds together to do the registration, so then we can start applying for government grants and small charity organisations that can support us, so we are able to see this vision grow wider across the community. And the other, it's not only homeless that we are supporting, we are also supporting DV and family violence victims as well. We have supported few mums on a smaller scale, but there is a huge need out there for DV support for mums and children, and we would like to be able to provide meals and go and assist them with any bills or domestic chores.
Okay, we're coming towards the concluding part, but if people, if someone needs this assistance and has the assistance that you are providing, the food and everything, so where and how do you do that? Where is this distributed?
We are currently distributing on from Emma Miller Place, which is just on top of Roma Street, Parkland, and we distribute on a Sunday at 5:30. However, there are many other charity organisations that do go to Emma Miller Place and they distribute to the homeless and needy from there.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Emma Miller Place, which is very close to Roma Street, Parklands there. So, donations are needed by Mums United Sewa Project, and the goods that they're looking for are dental hygiene, personal hygiene, muesli bars, noodles and chips, canned spaghetti, biscuits, baked beans, tinned tuna, socks, blankets. No products containing nuts. So, you can contact them by their Facebook or the website www.musp.com.au, and all the contact details are there on the screen. So if you could support this very, very worthy cause, as we know, many times we sit down on a table and have a meal to share, a bread to break. Just be mindful and thoughtful of that many other people might not have that opportunity. So if you are in a position to help, please do so. So Rohani, once again, thank you so much for coming in the studio and sharing this wonderful news and this concept that you have gone. And of course, I know that you are in a sort of initial stages of registration. There's some areas in which I could be able to help as well, and some of the with the registration process, you'll need to get registered with INC as well for donations and other things like that. So it's a move in the right direction. So if we have any concluding remarks for our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you, Australian Indian Radio, for giving me this opportunity and this platform to come and share our vision. Currently, as I said earlier, we are just in our baby stages, but there is a lot of opportunities for us to get out there and do a lot more for the community. I would like to, further down the track, have a centre where we can take homeless people, teach them skills, retrain them to get back into the workforce, and the same with mums and families who are suffering with domestic violence. So thank you to all the community who will be joining us to come and join and spread the word on this very worthy cause. Like I said, charity begins at our doorstep, and we mums look after our family the best of times at home, but we can spread our arms out to the wider community to bring a smile to their face and give them few nourishing meals a week to see them through.
And once again, Rohani, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, and please do reach out to us through social media, and every donation is worthy and it goes to a very worthy cause.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful project and a wonderful initiative. So, if anyone needs any further information, you can contact us or on those numbers that were displayed there. And it is something which is very worthwhile. So, any support coming their way would be welcomed. If you can, please be in touch with Rohani and spread the word. So that's those numbers there. 0429 007 240 is the number. And of course, you can find them on Facebook and the social media. And of course, if you want to email them, it's info@musp.com.au. And you can get the information there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been wonderful having your company today on this weekend edition, and we had so much to talk about. First of all, we had Sanjeev Sharma there and Assis from DJJS, then Rohani from Mums United Sewa Project. Both the groups doing wonderful job out in the community. And if you too have anything that you'd like to talk about, we'd love to have you on the show. This is your the show. This is for the community, by the community. So everyone's welcome to come and take part in any of the shows and any project that you might have. We'd love to have you on the show here. Greetings and Jai Sri Krishna to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Umesh Chandra, and born and bred in Fiji, studied in India, now settled in Australia. So it is a universal world that we are living in, and no matter where we are, we all share those same cultural values and heritage. So today I'm here to announce the Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan and the Janmasthmi, which is happening virtually this year during this pandemic. So it is good that the virtual is coming together, and you can follow the Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel as well. So it's Facebook DJJS World, and you will find that all the information there. And of course, you can contact Australian Indian Radio for further information as well. So hope to see everyone on this virtual Sri Krishna Janmasthmi on the 29th, 30th and 31st. So episode 1, episode 2, or you can watch the whole episode on the last day. And of course, the pleasure of watching it live as it happens and unfolds, the actual rituals would be wonderful and amazing. So once again, don't forget that Divya Jyoti Jagriti Sansthan's Janmasthmi 2021 on the virtual platform. I'd like to see you all there. And of course, thank you so much, Sanjeev and Assis, for coming in the studio. And of course, Rohani, amazing work that you are doing. And right now, it's goodbye from me. And have a wonderful weekend. We know that there's lots of functions and events taking place over the weekend, and we'll bring to you an updated list of functions and events on Monday, as quite a few of those would have happened today. So we will update all the functions and events happening, and we'll present that on the Monday show. And remember, the weekly format is that we have the 9 a.m. news, then we have at 10 o'clock our specialist program, like on Wednesdays we have real estate update with Usu Chandra. On Thursdays we have the travel updates with Tanvi Goel. So until then, it's goodbye from me.